Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to our actual news. The news hour we spent together where we talk about everything that happened today, actually did happen today. And also, we discuss some narratives that perhaps are not actual news, just to make sure that you can build your own opinion and can dissect what matters and perhaps what doesn't. Okay. If you're here for the first time, please comment, please express your feelings, your feedback to anything I say. If something contradicts that you have heard or know for a fact, then please let me know, and once I check it, I will be gladly, I'll gladly stay corrected. So thank you for joining. Today will be real fast, straightforward. We're going to discuss, of course, the biggest event yesterday, the return of our wrongly imprisoned Americans and how President and Vice President met them. Then we're going to guide us all of us, through as to whom did have Putin received, and how did he receive those folks that he got in return in that prison swap. Then we're going to discuss actual news, what President has announced today. Also, great, exciting news from the Harris campaign. Gonna a little bit touch on the Trump's meltdown and JD Vance. And by the way, happy birthday, JD Vance. Hope it's happy and you get cushions or, I don't know, dolphins on couches. Anywho, and then we're gonna round it up with some more news about the election and what to stay aware of. Okay, so today let's start first and foremost. Yesterday was the biggest event. If you have missed it, perhaps, I'm sure you haven't because I covered it. It's everywhere. Yesterday, Biden administration has managed to return Americans who were wrongly imprisoned in Russia. That included Evan Gershkovich, Paul Whelan, and Alsu Kurmasheva, right? Yes? Yes, that's the only last name that I'm somehow. My apologies. And so they have returned at Joint Base Andrews. There was also the fourth individual, green card holder, Vladimir Karamurza. And so we're going to talk about him as well. Why wasn't he there? Where is he now? We're going to hear from him and also learn about him and why does it matter that he's released. So, but first and foremost, here's the big moment. Perhaps you hopefully were asleep around midnight, but this is what we saw live, 4 minutes of President Biden and Vice President Harris meeting those heroes back at Joint Base Andrews. Take a look.
How you doing, sir?
So the guy you threw first was Paul Whelan. This is Evan Gershkovich, and then also will be the lady jumping on him, and in second will be his mom. It was discussed online for some reason. And yes, President Biden is awake, and he then spoke to reporters. We're going to also review that as well. He also, what I'm not going to show you here because it's a pretty long video, he also went back into the plane and thanked the pilots. Um, so it's typical Joe Biden. I know it has been twisted and turned all across social media that he got confused. He went back into the plane. Was he thinking that he's being traded to Russia? And all that nonsense from MAGAville, but he thanked the pilots because it was a very here's Evan's mom. Um, so it was a very sensitive and dangerous operation where several planes had to land in Turkey in Ankara at the same time to proceed with this exchange. This is also and by the way, yesterday, Bloomberg had reported on this exchange first in the morning, violating the embargo that all of us got, that nobody was allowed to speak on that, as the planes were literally in the air. So it was very sensitive, and um, I really condemn that because that's not right, and it could have gotten out of hand. And this is not what media is supposed to do. It's supposed to document, not provoke. So you see all three of them here, and Alsu's gonna now run to her family and daughters, and the daughter, as you may recall, that's why President Biden was singing "Happy Birthday." So the daughter turned 13, and as she literally turned 13 around at midnight, that's when she got to hug her mom and get the happy birthday that she hopefully that you hoped and prayed for, which is truly just touching and amazing. And thank you for mentioning the fourth person. And I want us also to get to know him because we understand why, Evan Gershkovich was, of course, all over the media, Washington Post reporter. We know Sue, we know less than even, but Evan, but we know of her. Of course, Paul Whelan, the hero that has been there for 5 years. And so, we're going to learn about the fourth person, Vladimir, in a second. So once they have returned, so many pictures that were so full of emotions, of course, very happy faces, President Biden and Vice President Harris. Here you see her meeting Evan for the first time. You saw that on the video, but such a good moment. And you saw this too. Just incredible. You have your president standing there and your mom, and you get to hug your loved ones that just prayed to do. And this is Sullivan, and I want you to pay attention to this because yesterday I showed you a video where Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor, choked when talking about the families and the release and what it mattered to him. And here he was all tears. This was not choking. This was all tears together with Kamala Harris. Just shows what it matters and how much it matters to elected officials, just the way it should be. And another really touching moment was when President Biden gave Paul Whelan his pin, and here you see him wearing it, the American flag. He said, welcome back, and thank you for your service and for your strength, and for never, stopping to believe that this is possible. So truly, truly amazing. Great day. If you got the newsletter, I was guiding you through how it all happened. So if you haven't looked at it yet, it's part of history. Please read. It matters. And so let's talk about Vladimir Kara-Murza. That's the fourth person. He is a green card holder. His mother married a British citizen, so he is British citizen and United States green card holder. And that matters because you're going to see it in the video, and there will be an underlined title because the video is from Sky News, which is a Murdoch wonderland, and they're not even mentioning that he's a green card holder. So, but his wife, first and foremost, shared this, Evgenia Kara Murza shared on her X or Twitter. She said, "Thank you very much to everyone involved. Sorry for not answering right away. We're still a little shocked, but the kids heard daddy's voice." And you see them at the Oval Office hearing their dad for the first time. And by the way, their dad was poisoned twice. And had to survive in solitary confinement in Siberia, um, and really was losing hope that he will see the light of day because he's connected to Navalny, and we saw what happened to Alexei Navalny, and just to hear that he was meant to be part of this prisoners exchange, it's just heartbreaking. Also, according to British sources, as I mentioned yesterday, allegedly, as they mentioned, it was agreed upon that he would be released on February 15th, just the day or near the day when he was murdered. So incredible. Now, as Vladimir's condition worsened, he had to be transferred to the hospital within the prison. He was in solitary confinement also at that hospital. Nobody knows what they did to him in that hospital, what they injected into him. And if you ever heard about how prisoners, political opponents of Putin are treated in those prisons, is very evil. And they're injected with poison and they're fed poison and so on and so forth. So it's like extended death that they're facing, which is also now rumored to be, there's several versions what killed Navalny, but one of them is that he was poisoned slowly but surely, and then had a heart attack or an impact, or died at impact on the day of his death. And so a bit about Vladimir. So he's a journalist and Washington Post contributor, who has long been an outspoken critic and dissident in Russia, repeatedly condemning Russia's war in Ukraine, calling for sanctions against Moscow, and accusing Russia's President Vladimir Putin of running a murderous dictatorship, according to Reuters. In May, Kara-Murza was awarded a Pulitzer Prize for commentary for passionate columns written under the great personal risk from his prison cell, warning of the consequences of being such hated person in Vladimir Putin's Russia, and insisting on a democratic future for the country. He had been in prison since 2022 on charges of treason. The 42-year-old had been sentenced last year to 25-year prison term before Russia agreed to release him and others in exchange for the return of 8 individuals held in US, Germany, Norway, Slovenia, and Poland. And so he did not arrive at Joint Base Andrews because he needed medical treatment right away. So he was flown to Bonn in Germany, had to undergo medical treatment, as well as others who also were working with Navalny. There are at least two individuals that were released along with him and that also needed medical treatment. They're currently in quarantine, and so they spoke today. They attended a press conference. They looked way better than what we see them before to look like. Here's them waiting for their press conference. On the left, this is Vladimir Kara-Murza, and on the right are those two still wearing, by the way, the uniform of the jail uniform that they literally came with. Russians complained that their murderers, hackers, and spies were flown with their eyes closed, and they were fearing that somebody will shoot them, and that wasn't humane and whatnot. But those are actual, literal prisoners. Like, those are murderers. We're going to talk about them. I'll tell you all about it, at least about some of them. So, not to compare with the 4 guys that U.S. and President Biden's administration was fighting for. So now in Bonn, all 3 gave a press conference. Let's take a look what Vladimir Kara-Murza says. And by the way, please pay attention. He is drawing the parallel between the post-war times and the Cold War times, when also United States and also European countries were the reason that some opponents of that current Russian regime were also released. And that also happened on the same tarmac in Ankara, Turkey. So that's what he is sort of drawing the parallel. And he says it's very significant and iconic that they were following that same path. So let's listen to him.
Would like to second what my friend said. Really happy to see everyone here. I've got this impression for the second day that I'm watching some kind of a movie. About a week ago, I was in a solitary confinement camera cell in Siberia, and then in Lefortovo, and now I'm here at this picturesque bank of rain. I'd like to, first of all, express my gratitude. It's very symbolic that we are in Bonn at the moment, which is the former capital of federal FDR, because what has happened is many unfortunate traditions has come back to the lives of Russians. Dictatorship, it's the tradition of invasions, military invasions. It's the tradition of violating personal freedoms. And and we're very happy to see that along with these nasty traditions, some good traditions are also coming back. And I think one of the good traditions of the democratic countries, and specifically Federative Republic of Germany, is this help in liberating political prisoners. And I'm thinking about our country. I would like to name three political prisoners, very famous political prisoners of the Soviet Gulag, who gained freedom due to efforts of Germany. Solzhenitsyn from Lefortovo, just like us, from to Frankfurt. Anatoly Sharansky in February 1986, who was exchanged at that famous bridge, and Mikhail Khodorkovsky in 2013, who came back from the same prison as Pivovarov. It was the personal aircraft of the head of state of Germany at the time, and we were at the landing strip of Ankara airport. That tradition was continued. And I know that we also spoke about this with Scholz yesterday. We all know that this was a difficult decision for the German government. In democracies, decisions are difficult. In dictatorships, decisions are very easy. Everything is decided on the basis of some cynical ideas. But the difference between dictatorship and democratic system is that in the democratic systems, the highest value is attached to human life. Oscar Schindler was given, there was a plaque where there was a quote that a person saving one life is saving the whole humanity.
A person saving one life is saving all humanity. And then he continued, today 16 lives were saved. And just think about the phrase that he said, that in democracy, all decisions are difficult. Decisions are only easy and simple when you live in the dictatorship. because they're based on cynical values. So when you hear next time the former president say, well, on day one, I'm going to close the border, not really even paying attention that there are people traveling who are, having family members, maybe with medical emergencies. There are people who have waited and paid and applied to be here legally, and put all their funds together to travel or to connect together with their loved ones. There's a war going on in Ukraine. There is plus minus war in Israel, and and people need to travel and see their loved ones and perhaps rescue them. But it's easy. I'm just going to close the border on day one. So remember this. If somebody, I think this is a very significant phrase here. If somebody has it so easy making any decision about anybody's life or tweeting about it, that person bases his and her and their decisions on cynical, egoistic values. And that is dangerous. And that has nothing to do with democracy. And this is not American. This is anything but American. So difficult decisions have to be made, and hence the press, when they pressed now both Jake Sullivan and President Biden as to why did you agree to this exchange, because now Russians will look for more prisoners, and now they will be attacking us. And President Biden said, well, this is what it is. I make difficult decisions, and if I get a chance to save somebody's life who is unjustly imprisoned and tortured and poisoned, I will do it. That is American. That is democracy. Difficult decisions. Decisions are difficult when you consider other people's opinions and values and lives. You take a lot into consideration. Then it's difficult to make a decision. If it's just all about you, simple. So let's continue. Speaking of Trump, he tweeted. And you would think he would say, oh, welcome back, heroes and whatnot. No. He says, so when are they going to release details of the prisoner swap in Russia or with Russia? How many people do we get versus them? Are we also paying them cash? Are they giving us cash? What does this cash has to do with anything here? Are we releasing murderers, killers, and thugs? Just curious, because we never make good deals at anything, but especially hostage swaps. Our negotiators are always an embarrassment to us. I got back many hostages and gave the opposing country nothing and never any cash. To do so is bad precedent for the future. That's the way it should be, or the situation will get worse and worse. They're extorting the United States of America. They're calling the trade complex. That's so nobody can figure out how bad it is. Okay, fact. He says he freed a lot of people. Yes, he freed 5,000 Taliban terrorists. He then invited Taliban terrorists to Camp David for 9/11. Mind you, 2 days ago, some of those at Guantanamo, 3 of them, pled guilty for 9/11. The bodies of those he got free. Then he promised to pardon all January 6th terrorists. Let's just call a thing a thing. This is not the time for chivalry and, flirting. We're 97 days before the election. Let's stop flirting. We're already discussing this very long-term relationship. This is not the first date. We know who we're dealing with. Nonsense. If you don't believe me, believe this guy. This is U.S. Marine Trevor Reed. And he says, as a former wrongful detainee in Russia, I would just like to remind everyone that President Trump had the ability to get myself and Paul Whelan out of Russia for years and chose not to. I would be skeptical of any claims about getting Evan Gershkovich back in a day. That's somebody who was in prison and Trump decided not to get him out. U.S. Marine. Questions? I think we got answers. So But when it comes to Trump and Putin, when he says, well, Vladimir Putin is just going to do it for me, he's just going to do this for me. I matter. I matter. Just because he's very infatuated with him. It's a bromance thing. From his side, Putin doesn't give a damn. No. But this guy, here's a new photo that came up. Trump taking a selfie with Putin with what looks like Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, it's time ago. We don't know the exact date, but that sort of reappeared again on the internet. And that reminded me on the video, perhaps you saw it before, the former PM of Australia, Malcolm Turnbull, when asked about Trump and Putin, he described what that looked like, because at that time he was Prime Minister of Australia and traveled, to all those meetings and witnessed both of them. Take a look.
With Putin, as I have on a few occasions, he's like the 12-year-old boy that goes to high school and meets the captain of the football team. My hero. It is really creepy. It's really creepy. Now,
and that struck you at the time?
Oh, absolutely. It struck everybody. It was like you could touch it. It was creepy. The creepiness was palpable.
Are you trying to say they're having a bromance?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just telling.
So here's my suggestion. Can we replace the word weird that got them so pissed with creepy? Who's in favor? Comment. Because I think weird, it's just so innocent. It can be beautiful. I consider myself weird. I have weird opinions. Let's go to the White House press briefing. I'm the weirdest one. I don't ask questions they, are thinking worth asking. So I ask different questions. I can, weird is beautiful in a way. It's artistic. It's interesting. It's different. Can we call them creepy? Because that's who they are. Creepy. I think creepy is a good word. Creepy. You're a creep. That could be a thing. Creepy weird. Exactly. That's a good one. Yeah, because then it's more defined. Have any news media thanked Joe Biden yet in print? No, they have not. And that's why that post that went viral, where I did a screenshot from Jake Tapper, where he said journalism is not a crime, and happy, Evan is back. Did you thank the person whom you harassed weeks ago for weeks while he was negotiating this deal, by the way, to step down? Can you thank this guy who is current president? For God's sake. Speaking of media, that's rude. That is rude. It's disgusting too. Creepy. It's also creepy. Okay, so speaking of media, President Biden yesterday, and speaking of that, he goes to bed at 8 p.m. After 1 a.m. at night on tarmac, he also had a conversation with the media. Here's a piece of it. Let's listen.
Hours before you announced that you were going to be leaving the 2024 race, can you talk to us a little bit about how important it was for you to get this deal done, knowing that you were not going to seek a second term? Was it very important?
I'd still get it done even if I was seeking a second term. You're stuck with me as president for a while, kid. There's no way out, okay? You got me for at least another 100 or 90 days or so. So it didn't have anything to do with that. It had to do with the opportunity and trying to convince one last country to say, okay, they'll step up.
You stuck with me for a while as president, kid. Dark Brandon knows how to talk to media, because, honey, you ain't 81, and you're a kid. Might be 40 or 50 or 60. You're a kid to him. You qualified. What are those questions? By the way, the time stamp was 12:03, so my apologies, was after midnight. But I like it. I like it a lot. Now, whom did Putin get in return? We mentioned 8 people. There's a couple, and they have children, so that counts as few. I don't know how many children they have, but counts as few. And there's one guy that I want to talk about. So others are hackers and spies. Were not shown on television because Putin wants to utilize them. But those guys were so celebrated. May I introduce to you a family of Dulcevs. The Dulcevs, who had posed as Argentine citizens, were sentenced to prison in Slovenia for espionage. The children, unaware of their Russian nationality, only discovered it yesterday as the plane departed from Ankara, Turkey, that they were actually Russian. Now, funny thing, the children don't speak any Russian. So Putin had to greet them in Spanish. Imagine. So these spies pretended to be from Argentina with fake passports and everything, the KGB, FSB spies, lived in Slovenia, spying the heck out of it for decades, birthing children whom they didn't even think to teach their native tongue of their wonderful motherland. So motherland ain't the mother tongue. So this revelation has caused the kids significant moral distress, especially since they couldn't understand the thing. In a surprising twist, Putin greeted them in Spanish. Take a look. Here they are. You've heard. Buenos dias. Yeah, they're teaching Putin a thing. Back to your comments. Why do they keep acting like he stepped down when he said he's not running for the next term? Exactly. When will they ask Donald? Donald. Good. Any good questions? Well, never. Because first of all, Donald never lets you to ask. But wait, if he wins, then everybody, this will be a masterclass of asking questions that do not matter just to satisfy him. Because when I'm at the White House and the press corps are telling me how fantastic it was when Trump was, literally, I'm quoting. And this is people, it's neighbor's dog. Sorry, I'm not at home. I'm traveling. So now, okay. I agree with whatever the barking is. Now, when I'm at the White House and press corps are sharing with me, for instance, those who report for China, India, and some dictatorships, right? They say this was so amazing when Trump was in office because we could literally open the Oval Office with our foot. And, he would tell us jokes and talk to us for hours because he wasn't working. That was the executive time. He had to fill it with something. Reading is boring. And so they could have unlimited talks with him. Also, he allegedly, as they tell me, because I wasn't covering at that time, I was doing different stuff, that he would hold press conferences not at the briefing room, but in the Rose Garden, because there the light was better. And he said that he was on purpose made orange in the press briefing room. And so in the garden, he had better light. And so the swirl of journalists that are press corps and not press corps were asking him any questions, and he was just telling the stories. So they can't wait to have him back. They cannot wait to have him back. They act no different than paparazzi. Exactly. Yeah, but it's what I shared today on X or Twitter, that where is that limit? Where is the limit of dignity? Where's the limit of professionalism? Because what I'm seeing, breaking news is usually broken news, because you get partial news, and a lot of BS. And then if you don't know what's happening, then you're believing into something that never happened nor will happen, and you get anxious about it. And the more anxious you get, you click on more news and you get those apps and you start checking it. And that's part of the plan. Because when you're anxious, you start looking for information just to find misinformation. That is also true. Okay, we spoke about the Dulcevs. Now there's another guy I want to mention. This guy's name is Vadim Krasikov. Now, when you look at Vadim Krasikov, you might understand what we're talking about. There's the guy. It's his mugshot. Vadim Krasikov, a Russian who was released from jail in Germany as a part of prisoner swap between Moscow and the West, was convicted in 2019 for the murder of a former Chechen militant in Berlin Park during daylight hours. The audacity of the killing, which occurred just a short distance from Parliament and the office of then Chancellor Angela Merkel, incited significant outrage in Germany. This has complicated efforts to negotiate for the release of political prisoners that the West seeks from Russian custody. The judge described the murder of Georgia national Zelimkhan Kangoshvili as state terrorism and suggested that the order likely came directly from Putin about the murder. Particularly aggravating was the fact that Kanashvili had long abandoned any violent struggle for Chechen independence. The judge emphasized this was not an act of self-defense by Russia. This was and is nothing other than a state terrorism. 4 children lost their father, 2 siblings their brother. Evidence supporting Russian state involvement included Krasikov's official Russian documents with a false identity and the fact that Russian law grants Putin the authority to order the assassination of political adversaries abroad. Okay, now mind you, remember that immunity thing? I'm going to read this again. Keep in mind the immunity thing. Russian law grants Putin the authority to order the assassinations of political adversaries abroad. The murder, executed with 3 shots from a Glock pistol on a sunny August day, was classified as having especially serious aggravating circumstances, the highest level of conviction under German law. Krasikov, born in Kazakhstan 1965 when it was part of Soviet Union, is depicted in police mugshots with deep, narrow-set eyes and mournful expression. He worked for Russia's FSB State Security Service, where, according to open-source investigators Bellingcat, he became a special assassin. Now, when he, and this is the murder he was convicted for. We don't know what else, right? So when that murder was reported in Germany, Russia said that they have no relation to murder in Germany, which a Russian is suspected. This was that Krasikov. This was 2019. Now, fast forward 2024, Putin hugs him and receives him with great honors. And I want you to watch this video, how that went down. It's 24 seconds. It's in Russian. Who cares? Watch it. This is Krasikov, the assassin, arriving in motherland. And then I'm going to share some news about him too. Watch this.
Внуково. На взлетной полосе красная дорожка, президентский полк и лично Владимир Путин. Так российские власти встречают 8 возвращенных граждан. Шпионы, хакер, контрабандист и киллер, осужденные за границей в объятиях первого лица.
That's Krasikov. With honor, with honors, with military parade and all of it. Hackers, killers, and murderers, and spies. Don't forget the spies. That's a Russian thing. Now, those whom I showed you, they are now considered to get honorary seats in their parliament because now they're heroes. Yikes. Okay, now let's go back to actual news, shall we? Cleanse the palate a little bit. President Biden proclaimed August 4th to August 10th as National Health Center Week. I quote, "During National Health Center Week, we honor all of the health center staff who sacrifice so much to care for the health and well-being of their communities. We celebrate the impact of health centers across the country, and we recommit to supporting their efforts and their vision, a future where everyone has access to affordable, quality health care." This is what President Biden announced today. Then also, Biden highlighted job growth and economic progress in July report. In a statement on July jobs report, President Biden highlighted nearly 16 million jobs that have been created since he and Vice President took office. Unemployment remains at its lowest in 50 years, and incomes are rising faster than prices. The report indicates steady employment growth and a significant drop in inflation, with strong business investment bolstered by the administration's Investing in America agenda. Biden acknowledged that while progress has been made, prices are still high. He pledged continued efforts to reduce costs through measures like combating price gouging, capping prescription drug costs, and increasing housing availability. He criticized congressional Republicans for prioritizing tax cuts for the wealthy and undermining Social Security and Medicare, vowing to fight for the future and support the middle class. So, earlier today in the morning, President Biden left to Delaware, where he, before boarding Marine One, he also had a brief interaction with the press, which was that Dark Brandon striking again mic drop moment. Take a look.
We're not giving up. We're not giving up on that. You want me to tell you ahead of time so he doesn't get out?
So what he's talking about, they're talking about another prisoner that is unjustly imprisoned. And so they were referring to, are you going to get him? Are you going to get him? And he said, yeah, we're working on it. What are you doing exactly? What is exactly happening? Now, think about Bloomberg leaking everything while we all were under embargo, because the planes were literally in the air. Anybody could have been, or the plane could be diverted. Anybody could have been killed. Anybody could have been just knocked out of the park, and none of that work would have paid off, and people's lives were in danger. Now the press corps at the White House are asking about another. There's discussion going on. Do you have brain? Do you have common sense? I know common sense is not that common, but read a book. Read a book. It will teach you about how that is going down. Nobody talks about negotiations that involve security agents, spies, our spies too, to connect with the other government that is currently at war with Ukraine, that we are opposing and condemning. Like, it's not a free negotiation. Let's go for lunch and talk about it. So, great news today. Around 12:45, actually around 1 p.m., Vice President Harris secured enough delegates to become Democratic nominee for president. So the voting just started today. And just within a few hours, she secured more than half of the votes. The voting will go on up until Monday. So on Monday, she will be declared official winner. There's nobody running against her either. And then at the DNC, she will be officially nominated and accepting the nomination. So now the DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, shared the news, and take a look.
So as chair of this great party, as chair of this party that is built on hope, I am so proud to confirm that Vice President Harris has earned more than a majority of votes from all convention delegates and will be the nominee of the Democratic Party following the close of voting on Monday. The outpouring of support we have witnessed for the vice president has been unprecedented.
And so Kamala Harris has joined the virtual briefing or meeting on the phone. Take a listen.
So, of course, I will officially accept your nomination next week once the virtual voting period is closed. But already I'm happy to know that we have enough delegates to secure the nomination. And later this month, we will gather in Chicago, united as one party, where we're going to have an opportunity to celebrate this historic moment together.
And so everybody is awaiting her announcement, whom she has picked as VP. This is the joke going on Twitter that I'm canceling my plans because, like, Shapiro canceled plans. It's Shapiro. Walz canceled plans. It's Walz. Kelly canceled plans. No. Pete, stop it. That is the broken news. You know, breaking news and broken news. Don't consume broken news. You're better than that, guys. You are better than that. You deserve good news. You deserve actual factual news because you're a great human with brain and common sense, and the way you pay attention as to what you wear, what you eat, and how you look. Also pay attention that you do not consume broken news. So she will announce it when it's due. Has to announce by August 7th. Is per DNC. So some plans have been announced for Kamala Harris and the VP. So over the course of the just 5 days, VP Kamala Harris will travel to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. So Tuesday, August 6th, Philadelphia. Wednesday, August 7th, Wisconsin. Thursday, August 6th. August 7th is Wisconsin and Detroit. Thursday, August 8th, Michigan, and then Raleigh. Friday, August 9th, Savannah, Georgia, and Phoenix, Arizona. Saturday, August 10th, Las Vegas, Nevada, where she will have a big rally. So I'll keep you posted, and of course, I'll share all the details about it. Now, who is very nervous? By the way, they announced that July has been the biggest month in history where she raised $200 million. Now they surpassed Trump's campaign by 50 million. Altogether, the campaign has raised $1 billion. So I shared all of that on X as well as in the articles on the website, honestnetwork.com. Go read. Or you will also get all of that in the newsletter, which is free tonight on Substack. Okay? I'm going to use the occasion to show you the link. honest.substack.com. Free. You're going to get all the news. You don't have to search for it. Not broken news, actual news. Let me leave this up for you. So, who is very nervous is Trump. Hence, he decided to tweet again. Why not? There has never been anything like the MAGA movement. We raised $139 million in July alone. Mind you, Harris, 200. We now have a whooping 327 million cash on hand. Why is he so concerned about cash? Is that because when you pay in cash to your porn stars and whatnot, nobody can track it and sue you, and you got to add some more felonies to the 34 you already have? And why is it on hand? Why is it the caps? Why is it like titled this way? Spectacular support from great American patriots who are donating to our campaign for President of the United States and helping out in many other ways. Much work to be done, but I will always keep fighting for you. Okay. Well, the number's just not going down. So just 4 bullet points as to Harris campaign. Harris raised $310 million in July. Not 200, what I just mentioned. 200 was within the 6 days after Joe Biden's announcement that he steps out of the race. I correct myself. So $310 million in July and announces $377 million war chest. Best grassroots fundraising month in presidential history. Surpasses $1 billion since launch, fastest in presidential history. More than $200 million raised in first week of the Vice President Harris candidacy, single greatest week in fundraising history. 2/3 of all come from the first-time donors. 2/3. So what is this fella talking about? Who knows? Hello. If you were choosing a VP pick, who would you choose? Me too. You would choose Pete. From what I hear, she's choosing based on which battleground states the VP would bring her in terms of winning the presidency. That is what the campaign is focused on. That's what I hear. So for that reason, they think Shapiro, they think Cali. From what I think, if we go with fresh, young, upbeat, wise, and just dynamic, very American couple, if you will, right? President and vice president. Pete is ready. Pete is ready. And I think everybody loves him. I mean, we see how he's being received. And we see how he masterfully just, he goes on Fox News, put them in the corner. He goes there and there, Tonight Show, boom. He is ready. If she's ready for him, based on the advisors, based on the campaign wanting to secure battleground states through the VP pick, then, might be not him. But in terms of the candidate, Pete is fantastic. That is my opinion. Take it for what it is. I shared with you what I hear, and that's my opinion. My opinion matters, tiny bit. The Trump voice. I spit out. I can't read his tweets with Norm. That's my only entertainment I get while covering this mess. Like, I can't. I have to. This is a survival thing, you know. Okay, let me put that thing away, the banner. Okay, let's continue. Elon Musk, the owner of Platform X and Twitter. Let's call it a Twitter. This is a readout. I shared the article. I wrote the article about it, but I want you to listen to me because this is important and this is freaky. Musk's PAC. Remember, he announced the America PAC. He said, I'm not MAGA, but I think Make America Greater PAC. Well, that's the thing. The PAC he founded targets swing states with controversial ads. Okay, cool. I mean, fine. Expected. Listen more. Elon Musk and other tech executives are backing Donald Trump's presidential campaign with the social media ad blitz. Okay. Musk is using his Platform X to promote Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris, the likely Democratic nominee. Okay. His America PAC is also collecting data from key swing states that could influence the 2024 election. That's where it gets interesting. A recent Google ad aimed at Michigan voters features a dramatic video of an assassination attempt on Trump, followed by a prompt to register to vote through the America PAC website. So anybody in Michigan and battleground states watches this video, Trump is being, it's an assassination attempt, scary, go register through the America PAC. While users in non-battleground states like California are indeed directed to state voter registration pages, those in swing states such as Pennsylvania or Georgia are led to elaborate personal information forms. After entering their details, these users are simply thanked without receiving help with voter registration. So, in other terms, they're fooled. Anybody in Democratic states or other states that are pretty much decided on, they're watching the ad, they go and register, checking upon their registration. People in battleground states watching the video, and then they're just filling out a personal form, being thanked for, nothing happened with registration. All they did is giving up their data, their voting, who they will be voting for and whatnot. So they can be why they do it. Because how targeting works, right, on the web is you target one person, then you create a like audience. So it's like me, Olga, and then anybody who is Olga-like, guesstimating age, cultural background, financial information, any type of data, my preference, what I watch, what I eat, what I shop for, who I vote for. This is their like audience. And so by collecting this data, they can create a like audience and target them with more BS as we go get close to the election. The America PAC, which has invested over $800,000 in digital ads targeting critical swing states, is a key part of Musk's strategy. With a net worth exceeding $235 billion and control of X, Musk has emerged as a major player in 2024 election through these substantial social media and PAC sources. By the way, my yesterday's live stream video is nowhere to be found on X. It's interesting. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. Let's talk about Megaville. Today was a big day in Megaville. Just imagine, it's a whole ville. It's a Megaville. It's a village. And so, remember the shooter, the murderer, Kyle, what's his face? Rittenhouse. Remember the boy? Just shot people? I was celebrated as a hero. So first he posted a video saying that he will not be voting for Donald Trump. Take a look. He removed it after that, but take a look. I got it.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no takebacks.
No takebacks. Remember the phrase, no takebacks. He's a man. He's a manly man. Okay. Another such manly man then posts, sad to see Kyle Rittenhouse, who I supported after he murdered more people than me. Are you admitting you murdered people? Who I supported after he murdered more people than me? Literally. Oh, Jesus. What happened to Ivana Trump? Anyway, has gone woke and didn't vote for me. If it were up to me, he'd be in jail. Ungrateful. This country needs loyalty, not betrayal. Make America great again. I'm confused about that phrase, murdered more people than me. If you ain't a murderer, would you say something? That's weird. Weird. Okay, Magaville continued. So Chad Prather, who's that? Is that I don't know. Oh, well, Kyle, I regret to inform you that I will no longer be one of your guests on September 12th at the whatever event. Ari Khan, you can write in someone else. This was not the way, bud. And also Trump says that he got woke. Why woke? He's writing in somebody from your side. Anyway, lo and behold, no takebacks. Remember? Here's Kyle Rittenhouse. Over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump's team, and I'm confident he will be the strong ally gun owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. Sniff. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every gun owner to join me in helping send him back to the White House. It's a manly man. Manly man. Wow. It's confession by Trump. I don't know. This is like, well, I don't have to be very smart to do. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Please ask any questions. Whatever I can answer, again, whatever I know, I'll share. Whatever I don't know, if it's my opinion, I clearly say it's my opinion. Worth whatever it's worth. So, but facts worth everything. Continuing in the creepy Magaville, we're just reciting there for a second. Laura Loomer said Kamala Harris is married. Why isn't her name Emhoff? I agree with Ron Filipkovsky. Like Ivanka Kushner? What are you talking about, Laura Loomer? You are single as a Pringle. And this is offense to Pringles. I love them. Anyway, you don't have to take the name of your husband. I mean, Kamala Harris has married her amazing husband, Doug Emhoff, at a certain age where she was established as Attorney General, as, very prominent figure in politics and, legal sphere. Why would she change her name? So people would say, Kamala who? What are you talking about? Why Ivanka Trump is not Ivanka Kushner? That's a good question. Would her worth go down? We don't know. Weird questions deserve weird answers. I love hearing your opinions. Thank you. Thank you. But again, we have to separate it. Opinion and facts. Facts are facts. I read them out. I present videos. Opinions are good, but, it's how they state on YouTube now, like, it's for entertainment purposes only. And then it's like a commercial about, like, anti-COVID treatment. It's like, how is this entertainment? Anyway. Okay. So, Shapiro, talking about Shapiro, Joe Shapiro, he got compared to Obama at an event. So they started asking him, how dare you? You are like a Timo version of Obama. Look at his answer.
Question. Governor, J.D. Vance just said this about you, and these are his words, quote, he compared you to a really bad impression of Barack Obama. What is your response to that?
Is that what he said? That's great. I love how we get the real-time quotes here. I mean, look, I don't know. Barack Obama was probably our most gifted orator of my time, so It's kind of a weird insult, I guess. But look, I'll say this about J.D. Vance. It is real hard being honest with the American people when you're not being honest with yourself. J.D. Vance is a total phony baloney. He is the most inorganic candidate I think I have ever seen on the national stage. He doesn't know what he believes, and that is why it is impossible for him to articulate a coherent message to the American people, because he doesn't believe it. This guy is not exactly off to a good start, and it is clear that Donald Trump really has buyer's remorse with his pick. So if he wants to sling insults in my direction, which I'm not even sure is an insult, let him do it. That's fine. Bring it on. I'll be ready for whatever the hell J.D. Vance throws my direction. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, this guy is growing on me. Hello, Shapiro. I like it. Me like it, Picasso. Very nice. Very good answer. Put them right in the corner, right under that rock that they crawled out of. Why we need to compare everybody with Obama, with this, with that? Obama is Obama. Shapiro is Shapiro. Good answer. Very, very good answer. And also, happy birthday, J.D. Vance. You suck. Okay. Chelsea Handler is back with another video about politics. I know it's not the news. Oh, please. It's not factual news. But today's Friday. Let's have some fun with this. Here's Chelsea Handler talking about Trump. Remember assaulting black journalists at National Association for Black Journalists? Listen up.
Oh, hey, it's me again. Every time Trump speaks lately, it reminds me of this.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black.
First of all, people don't turn black. However, they can turn orange. Kamala is black and Indian. Those two things can be true at the same time, kind of like how you're a failed businessman and a convicted felon. Also, Trump made this statement at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. He's so good with reading the room. Kamala Harris's mother is Indian and her father is black, and she has never denied being black. She went to Howard University, a historically black college, and belonged to a black sorority. So she's definitely not been hiding anything. But technically, she's biracial. And I know the concept of something being biracial is a mystery to you, but maybe J.D. Vance can explain it to you by showing you a picture of his ex-girlfriend. So please keep talking, Donald, to black journalists and Hispanic journalists and women journalists and gay journalists. I hope you can find a trans journalist, because I can't wait to see that conversation. You're doing great. Just keep talking, and we'll see you in November.
Can we have a trans journalist ask Donald and J.D. Vance some questions? Heck, I would even, volunteer to invite couch salesman to ask some questions there. I think that would be quite entertaining and interesting. Now, Trump wants to believe you he is not weird. You need to know on this Friday, before you go to bed, he and J.D. Vance ain't weird. You got the message? You don't believe me? Listen to Donald.
Well, they're the weird ones, and if you've ever seen her with the laugh and everything else, that's a weird deal going on there. They're the weird ones. Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not, and I'm up front, and he's not either, I will tell you. J.D. is not at all. They are.
Reminds me like in kindergarten, my friend anymore. Don't poop in my whatever yard. Making this up. I wasn't in that pooping kindergarten. But anyway, it's a poop throwing competition. And it's not working. You know what I was like with the first debate? Go back, right? I said that Biden was prepared to kill Trump with facts and figures and policies and all this, right? But he was entering the discussion where it's really about a poop throwing contest. Because you can't have factual debate with Trump. He doesn't know no facts. He has no facts. He doesn't care about facts. He can't memorize the thing. He can't memorize his Melania's name, for God's sakes. You can't see her either, so whatever. That explains it. Now, my thing was why Biden was not prepared to the poop throwing thing, because with Trump, there is no other version. It's just plan A. Now, we entered this very interesting phase where it is a very good collision, like a very good mix. What I see from the Democratic part is where they use facts and figures and policies to form a poop bomb, if you will, and throw it at Trump. And he is losing this competition. Losing it. Check the comments. That was brilliant, Chelsea Handler. Yes. Kamala's laugh. Infectious. Yeah. Speaking of MIA, where's Melania been? I don't think that service is included in the campaign. They have a lot of legal fees to cover. So, again, it's my opinion. I don't think that is being afforded. Okay. Now, if you want to watch something not weird, here's a beautiful video. Now, back to normal. Beautiful video of Kamala Harris meeting a girl and encouraging her to be a leader. Now, this is not weird, nor we would ever need to hear from Kamala Harris that she ain't weird, because she's not.
What happened to your teeth? Did the tooth fairy come? You couldn't find her? Because you were too busy? Yeah.
Well, I'm counting on you to be a leader, right? You know that? Come shake my hand on that. We have an agreement. You will lead. Thank you.
Everyone, big smiles right here.
All right, ready? Thank you.
That is nice. That is amazing. This girl's life, obviously had changed after this interaction. She saw somebody that resembles her, that it will be the first president of the United States, that encouraged her to be a leader and lead. I will not be surprised if we see this girl at some point on television, dipping and doing, in the good way, leading. Okay, not, Okay. Let's finish up on the joke. Very last video, I promised a shorter live stream today. So Stephen Fry has interviewed President Zelensky. And to your comment, by the way, about Trump's lies have lies embedded with more lies. He's a Russian nesting doll of lies. I know, it's all lies. Lie and a lie and a lie. Kamala is so inspirational. Yes. It's healing. I love it. So, speaking of Russians, President Zelensky has been interviewed by Stephen Fry, who told him a joke. Now, listen to this.
I did tell a joke at the comedy club. Is if Putin and Medvedev were on the top of St. Basil's and they fell off, which one would hit the ground first? Do you know?
No.
Who gives a That's the joke.
Who will hit the ground first? Well, who gives the F? Exactly. I think that should be the response to many, many things. Who gives the F? Last thing, please give an F, a lot of Fs to this. If you are, I'm not a weather person, but somebody sent it to me this morning. So there's potential tropical system, which is grade 4. Again, I'm not a weather person, so I'm explaining it the way I explain it in my head, which is not anywhere near it should be explained. But there's a storm going on. If you're in Tampa area, if you're Orlando, make sure you're safe, make sure your neighbors are safe, and keep your head on a swivel. It goes up to Georgia, North Carolina, so South Carolina. So take a look and be safe, please. If you're in Florida and Georgia, we want you to be safe and alive and healthy. That is what matters, regardless of anybody's political views. That doesn't matter. So please stay safe. LOL. Yeah, exactly. That's the joke. That was funky and it was funny. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, the tropical storm, by the way, it's in Florida up until Sunday, and then it goes up Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, I think, around Georgia. So please pay attention, because I didn't. Somebody sent it to me or like, are you there? No, but let's take a look. So Now, again, I will remind you, I'm organizing President Biden DNC Tribute Night Watch Party. August 19th, President Biden is opening, at the opening night of the DNC in Chicago. He will be speaking. You are very much invited to RSVP. If you're watching on X, Twitter, the first comment below, there is a form, RSVP, that if you would like to watch this together. The more the merrier. There also, you have a chance to upload a 30-second tribute if you want to thank President Biden, if you want to share a story that matters or something that sort of was close to your heart that he did. I will make sure to forward the entire video and our game plan to the White House, sending it to President Biden and First Lady. So the more the merrier. Please RSVP if you're planning to attend. By the way, if you want to upload the video, you can always go back to the form and edit it and upload the video by August 16th. So we have time to put it up. This is produced by me. This is not, has nothing to do with money. It's not a fundraiser. It's just us honoring the amazing president and showing, our gratitude and love, truly, because he did that for us continuously. As he said, yeah, you stuck with me as a president for 190 days. And we love it. And we love it. Ain't we? So, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Tomorrow, we always go live Monday through Friday. Saturday is optional. Sunday, always off. I need to touch grass, literally. So tomorrow, if news happen, if there's enough news not to waste your time, if you have any ideas, like a Q&A or whatever, comment below this video if you have any questions like that I can come up and just answer them. But unless there are news, I know Kamala Harris, our VP, is not having official things, events. President also not. Second gentleman does. So if there are enough news, I certainly will come up and we'll let you know, about a live stream. If not, I don't want to waste your time. If you want Q&A, comment below and we'll get it going. Please share it with anybody who might find it interesting. I would always appreciate it. Okay? Thanks for another great update. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you. Highly concerned. Thank you. I like to do it. Is that the guy? Yes. This was informative and fun. Thank you. Elon is a... That's a good tagline. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I'm done. We're done. Have a wonderful Friday. Hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, definitely Monday around 8 p.m. Okay? Thank you. Have a peaceful weekend.